Hello and welcome. My name is Era T. Green. This is Wise Women Television, and today I am bringing you a pick a card reading on how to manifest more money or material wealth. So we have 4 card piles today, and I'm very excited to have you and to get started. So I sure hope you stick around. I encourage you to like and subscribe. Liking ensures that other people see this video and that we reach more lives, and subscribing ensures your own commitment to yourself. If you press the bell icon, you'll receive a notification every single time a video pops up. That way you can return to your own commitment to yourself in terms of your own growth. So thank you for being a part of this community. I do want to let you know that I do offer both personal readings as well as coaching sessions to support you to bring these readings to life or to support you more generally in your life and your work and on your spiritual path. So please do check out those details if that lands for you or inspires you. And we will get started. I will begin by placing up the 4 card piles now. We have 4 today. And we will begin. So card pile 1, how to manifest more money or material wealth. So it's saying that you first have to honor the desire that you have wealth, or that you want wealth. You have to honor the desire that you want wealth, okay? That you want money or material wealth. So you might be someone who thinks wealth is bad, or who thinks money is bad, or who has seen the ways of the world and how money hasn't been used properly. But you might have a belief system in place at this time that's preventing you from being able to move forward to owning this desire. And you're being offered this opportunity, this invitation that, hey, if this is something that you want and you want to call in more money or support yourself to live more abundantly in terms of bringing in material wealth, to please do so. And you can, but honoring that you have that desire is the very first step. You can't move towards something or experience something that you haven't given yourself permission to experience. So the first step is owning your desire. The second step is giving yourself permission to own that desire. And the third step is taking action in a way that honors the desire that you have for yourself. So it's the very first thing that's coming up for you, card pile 1. And actually, I love how streamlined and simple it was. It was like bada bing, bada boom, bullet points right there. Shoot, the reading's almost over. I mean, not really, but it was just very clearly given, like this, because what it's saying here, okay, so let me show you these cards, what it's saying. You're not owning that desire, you're holding it back, and so it's also stagnating and creating imbalance in your energy field as well, or can. I'm not going to say that or affirm that for sure, but it can, so just so you know that. So you're being asked to move forward, aka with the steps that I already offered, because what it's saying is this. Anything that holds you back or limits you or makes you believe that you can't, or that it's not possible, or that it's not feasible, or that it's not practical, or that it's not for you, that is a belief of the mind, because the mind is the only thing that sees limitation. The truth of you is ultimate, infinite source. It says you can do what you want. You have the opportunity to do what you want. The power is in your hands. The power is in your hands as a creator to do as you will. We do have free will. Now, this doesn't mean that we go out. Spirit is not saying you go out and just behave hedonistically and, develop all this self-gratifying wealth and excess. That's not what it's saying. It's saying that you can allow yourself to have money and be supported for, and be provided for, and be supported. And it's saying it's limitless. The options are infinite. Ask and you shall receive. That opportunity is there. There is no limit to what you can experience. There's certainly no limit to how you can be provided for or how well you can be supported. God, Great Spirit, Cosmos, Universe, the Eternal Mother, Mother Nature, of course, we know Mother Earth is ready and willing and available, providing endless resources to support our ability to thrive. It's just giving ourselves permission to really own that infinite and unlimited creative power and really recognize the limitless potential and the limitless resources that are available, okay, when we're following the will of divine spirit, because that's a part of this too. Now, what's coming through is, yes, the mind can limit, right? And it can hold us back, it can prevent us from experiencing all that we are, our highest potential, what is possible for us. The only thing that's going to get in the way, look at the different energies here. And I guess, of course, Source is taking over here and supporting them to clear out those old belief systems. But it's saying that when we align with the will of God, or divine spirit, higher power, whatever you call it, anything is possible. And that is also why that recognizing that when you're aligned with God and you are connected to a higher power and you are following through with the will of the all, the whole, and the one, there is nothing that can stop you and there is no limitation. Now, I want to offer a disclaimer in that, again, we're not being given this blank check to go do with it as we so choose. It's more of like, align yourself with the divine will and all doors will open for you. Align yourself with the will of God, Great Spirit, Cosmos, Universe, Higher Power, and all doors will open for you. Align with the will of God and all doors will open for you. How incredible is that? And that could include any form of abundance, any resource, any opportunity, any desire, any potential. If you are aligned with the will of God, anything is possible. And the key here is aligning with that will. It's not necessarily the will of the ego or of the limited mind or of the self or of the ego, right? That's not what it's being offered here. It's saying when you're aligned with the will of God, all doors will open. You will have the key to every door. And so you get to choose whatever you want. You know, you get the pick of the litter here. Whatever it is you want, the infinite litter, you get the choice when you're aligned with and connected with to one true source, one true self, the whole, the one, and the all, right? When you're aligned with that, anything is possible. Anything can happen. Anything goes. And there is no limitation. And so you will be guided, you will be supported, you will be provided for as long as you are in full alignment with the divine will. And we could even ask, what is divine will? And part of that is what comes through you from your true self, from your higher self. And part of how you connect with this is through your own intuition. So however it is that you connect to your own intuition, and when you're following the flow of life, more often than not, if not always, life is flowing you in the right direction. Things are moving, things are changing, energy is moving, energy is changing, and that energy is bringing you right to where you want to go. So if you just trust it and you just let it go and you just allow yourself to rest in the hands of God, Great Spirit, Cosmos, Universe, Goddess, if you allow yourself to rest in those hands and to just allow that flow or that current to bring you to all the places that it brings you, that's when all these doors open. But it's surrendering your own will or even your beliefs, because it's saying like you haven't given yourself permission to own this desire because you might have seen all the evil that money has done, or you think that it does this, or whatever your belief system is, right? It's going to be unique to each and every one of us based on our own family conditioning, based on what we've seen, based on what we know. All that's going to look different. And it's saying when you're not owning your desire, you're not giving yourself the green light to experience it. But again, that's because you're seeing everything through the filter of the mind. When you align with God, not only are those limiting beliefs shed, but the way that you approach money and abundance and the things that you do with it and the way you show up and the way you express yourself and the way that you contribute and the way that you share and the way that you behave and all the things that you choose are coming from a totally different place. Right? They're coming from this place, which is aligned with the whole, the one and the all. All right. So it's saying because you know that you are connected to and backed by God, you can now give yourself permission to experience all the abundance that is meant for you and intended for you. You can do that now because you know that you're not operating from ego mind that has brought a lot of pain to maybe yourself, your family, other people, the world, whatever your current belief system is, whatever those limitations are, you know that it's going to be coming from a different source. So you can give yourself that permission to experience material wealth, to experience money in a different way. You're going to show up with it differently, from a different level of consciousness, from a different occupation on this planet, from a different position, different angle, perspective, and so it can be trusted. So now you can give yourself the green light because you know you will do right and good with it. And you know that every door is open for you if you so choose. Again, what's being affirmed here, and we already talked about this, is going beyond the norm, doing something extraordinary. You know, the way that you are going to show up with money and material wealth is going to look dramatically different than how everyone else might show up with money who's coming from these old belief systems. And oftentimes when we repress our desires, it actually can be channeled or sort of short-circuited in other areas, such that, you know, if they didn't allow themselves to have at some point in their lives, now they're just going to be, you know, craving it and wanting it because they haven't allowed themselves to have it. Meaning, only again, when we come from the mind, when we come from limitation, we come from fear, scarcity, or whatever, do we do things wrong with money, okay? You can't do wrong when you're living in a space of harmony, peace, bliss, abundance, communion, connection, love, spirit. There's no way you're going to do wrong with money when you're coming from that place. It's just not a feasibility. It's only when you are coming from these more limited mindsets, which does include suppression of desire. Okay? So ironically, you're trying to do the right thing, even if subconsciously you might not have explicit thoughts. You might not even know this is what's happening subliminally underneath your radar here. You know, it doesn't mean it's in conscious awareness, but it's saying if you're suppressing your own desires, you're contributing to that greater imbalance in the collective globally that happens with money, that happens with material wealth, because you too are coming from that space of lack, scarcity, limitation, unknowingness, disconnection, separation, so on and so forth. It all stems from the mind, from wounding, from lower energies, lower vibrations, denser vibrations, and so on, okay? So ironically, you're trying to not contribute, but because you are denying yourself your own desires and not trusting yourself and so on and so forth, you are subscribing to the same belief system that's perpetuating all the money issues on this planet. So allow yourself to heal this. Allow yourself to think differently, to believe differently, to subscribe differently, to do differently. Allow yourself to connect with your own desire, to give yourself permission to align with the divine will, and to experience all the abundance, all the material wealth, all the money that is available for you, knowing you're going to do different with it. You're going to contribute differently. You're going to show up differently because you're aligned with a totally different vibration, consciousness, and core value system. It's just not even possible that you perpetuate the same issues, but you do actually, remember, perpetuate the same issues when you're denying your desire, and that you're letting the limitation, lack, scarcity, all those kind of repercussions of the mind, when you're letting that dictate you, you're again indirectly feeding the system that you're trying to get rid of. So there's a healing that's available here for you. And look at all these potentials that awaken for you. You can soar like a bird. There's freedom. There's abundance. Look at that abundant earth. All those rich colors, the colors of autumn, of the great harvest, of the fall harvest. All of that is available for you. And it's saying like there's this whole earth of rich resources, rich abundance, rich flow, colors and vibrant. There's just so much there for you. And it's, again, all yours for the taking. And not that you're a taker, but it's all yours. Look at these same colors. Let's take a look at that here. And actually, let's take a look at all this. You see the suppression of the desire, right? You see how it's like a fractaling or a fracturing. It's not able to be fully owned. And then when it is, and it's connected to divine desire, it almost like explodes into this infinite reality that then, look, the colors are the same here. Okay, looking around at earth and recognizing it's all wealth. All of this is wealth. People, opportunities, nature, all these resources are wealth. They are all versions of spiritual wealth manifested in practical or physical reality as material wealth. All of it's wealth. Money is no different. You are here to experience the wealth of this planet, the wealth that is on this planet, and any wealth that is here, whether it's person, plant, animal, food, opportunity, money, cash, can be viewed and used from a lower vibrational level of consciousness, caveman consciousness, or it can be used from divine will, divine consciousness. Okay, and that's what we can bring in here, and that's how you increase your material wealth, is by giving yourself permission, aligning with the will of God, recognizing that it does give you the green light, and that this is actually what positions you to change the system, is by not just doing away with it and saying forget it because it's bad or it's wrong, which is of course just the judgment-based mentality that perpetuates the old system. It's by owning that desire and just doing differently, allowing that healing to release all those old beliefs and the things that lack, scarcity of the egoic mind that make everyone fearful and think everything's evil or whatever those old things are. And it's saying you allow all of that to relax, which then of course helps the global mind relax in those regards and soften and eventually surrender, such that those old ways of dealing with money that might have turned you off at one point, or those old excesses or self-gratifying wealth and all that stuff, more or less falls away because people are aligned with the divine will. They're not seeing it from hoarding, where they can't have it, or it's a limited resource and it's not ours and I have to suppress the desire, which that is actually what leads to trying to take more money, more power. I want to put it in my hands and leave it for my family. Nobody gets any, right? You're not allowing your own desire for money actually is that same vibration. Okay, it's saying you perpetuate the same system by aligning with the mind, by aligning with judgments, by aligning with belief in evil and corruption and all of that. And whatever your version of that is, it's just what's coming through. Once you release that, right, we just talked about this card, you're able to step into that greater mind and truth and intelligence that money can be used differently, and that it is just another resource for us to use on this planet. It's just another one, just like the banana on the tree. And just like some humans will treat cattle and treat animals cruelly and unjustly in order for humans to eat. Again, another resource, animals, food. Some people will walk in there and they will treat them well. And they will treat them humanely. Okay? They will ensure they are free range and so on and so forth. So that gives you that that understanding that, you know, there are different ways to treat a particular resource, and you'd be coming from it from a different angle because you released the belief that it was wrong or that you couldn't have it. You can step outside of that belief system, align yourself with divine will, and boom, you're able to materialize material wealth and more money for yourself. So that was a long reading, pile one. If you stuck it out with me, I thank you for that. There was a lot that wanted to come through. It's very clearly something that is needed at this time. So if that pile landed for you, please do like, subscribe, comment below. I do want to hear your stories. Again, that was a long reading. I do want to hear your feedback on that. I feel like it's pretty revelatory. So please do share. I do want to let you know, again, I do offer both personal readings as well as coaching sessions to support you, to bring this reading to life, or to support you more generally in your life, in your work, and on your spiritual path. Thank you, card pile one. Okay, card pile two. We're talking about increasing your material wealth, manifesting money. We had such a long reading on card pile one. I'm like, whoa. So card pile two, it's actually a part of your legacy to experience material wealth, to experience greater wealth, to experience more money. It's a part of your legacy, okay? There's a change that is happening right now that you are undergoing. Hold on, the dogs are barking. Okay, card pile two. Greater wealth is intended for you. It's what is a part of your soul plan or your soul agreement. So you're undergoing a change right now that is supporting you to be able to call in more money or more material wealth. You're going through some kind of healing or alchemy or clearing or whatever that's helping you integrate these new energies, this newfound or expanded capacity to receive, or newfound ability to be able to receive, create, experience more wealth. So you're going through a change right now. I think the rest of the layers of the reading are going to tell us a little bit more details. It's going to offer more details and specifics on what that change is, because there's something here about no longer aligning with the ways of the past, who you were before, the thoughts and beliefs of people in your life. You know, these could be your caregivers or authority figures in childhood, but just like kind of like not falling for what you've been taught and told, letting go of old belief systems that held you back and didn't allow you to be able to step into all that you are. Because again, it feels like the energy that I'm getting, and I'm trying my best to articulate, is it is your destiny and it is your higher calling to become wealthy. Okay, that is a part of your path, to have some level of wealth, and yet there's something that has prevented it from your past. So, and it doesn't mean it prevents it forever. It means it's a part of your path to not have it and then to have it, right? Does that make sense? It's a part of your path to unravel all this stuff and come into your greater knowing and come into your greater self. So this is a part of your path. It's not like you've done anything wrong or anything was bad or something held you back, because you were meant to do this, right? You were meant to discover wealth through not having it. You were meant to discover limitlessness through limitation. So this is very much assured and a part of your path. It was something you were meant to do or experience. But it's saying, like, it's almost like you experienced, some of you might have experienced poverty as a young child, or just not enough to go around. Some of you experienced parents with money trouble. Some of you watched the news and saw different shows and things like that that infiltrated your mind and gave you an idea of things that money did or the things that money did wrong. But you came to believe for some reason that you were small, or you couldn't have it, or you weren't good enough, or it just wouldn't happen for you. It required too much work, that almost like you just separated yourself from it. That's what it's feeling. Thank goodness I'm finally getting there. Trying to articulate energy sometimes can be difficult. It's like you separated yourself from it. You said, oh, that's different from me. Those people are different from me. That experience is different from me. That family who has money is different from me. That person is different from me. You know, that person has a lot of money. They're different from me. They wear differently. You know, they go to these stores. But you grew up with this idea of, I'm not that and they aren't me. So this led to more or less an identity or a belief that you were something different from money, or different from material wealth, or different from a more wealthy lifestyle or luxurious lifestyle or whatever. Now, I never in these readings, nor is Spirit saying that we're all going to go move towards self-gratuitous excess. That is not at all what these cards are about. In fact, if you watch card pile 1, I recommend it for every pile, especially if you got it too. I recommend that almost like as a prerequisite for these other card readings, because it really dives into even my own personal work in wealth, and even some things I'm offering here in the near future in terms of my coaching programs, the foundational pieces. And thankfully, and of course, it came up in today's reading for card pile 1. So I'm never saying like, go off and do what everyone else has done and spend frivolously and, you know, step into excess. That is not all what I or Spirit am intending for. It's very much about wealth and alignment. You know, true wealth, connecting to your core, doing right with it, entering in different consciousness with money and wealth. And again, you can watch card pile 1 for more of that information. But wealth then is a part of your path, just to return to your reading here. But at some point you said, this isn't for me, this isn't mine, I am different. And there was a fracture there in terms of, oh, okay, so that's not mine then. You know, I never get to have that, it's not me. You're being asked, so let me show you some of these cards too, because I almost forgot, with the dogs barking. Here's your legacy. You're meant to have it. It's a part of your path. It was intended for before you came here. There's a change that's happening now. You become aware of some of the variables at play or influences at play, even the desire for material wealth or money, starting to just explore this avenue a little bit. You're seeing the ways of the past, how you separated yourself from wealth, believing that other people who were wealthy or that wealth was different from you or it wasn't for you or you couldn't have it. And now you're discovering, again, that exploratory change that's happening. You're listening a little bit more deeply, and you're recognizing that this might be a part of your path, or that it's something that you might actually want, or you know what, just maybe it is for you, and it's not just for everyone else, that it can be for you if you so choose. And in fact, we already know that because we got it. It's a part of your path, it's part of your destiny, it's part of your legacy. So you really want to connect to the core truth here, not those old beliefs, not the things that said you were separate. Really take a look and explore those particular beliefs that might have gotten in the way, or those things that you internalized that said you were different, and just take a look. You're just going to bring your awareness to that, to see if that gentle or subtle awareness can begin to sort of unravel these old identities that are committed to that reality or committed to that experience, or these old beliefs that say that you're different. Just see if that can start softening, if that can start dissolving, if that can start unraveling, because that's not the truth of you. Again, you're being asked, it's so funny here. You're being asked to connect with yourself again. We got 2 cards from this that are both very much the same. Now we are seeing in this one her eyes are closed and she's trying a little bit harder to get to hear the word, to know the truth, to connect with herself, right? It's a little bit more strenuous, and that's a little bit of a strong word, but it's a little bit different from this woman's level of knowing, to where she's just listening for truth. And this one, she feels she knows, okay? So this is saying that, you know, you start to uncover that greater truth of you. You start to connect with a deeper, truer part of you. You get to know that part of yourself that's aware of this greater legacy that wants to come through, that isn't in alignment with, oh, I'm separate from, or I'm different than. I do want to pull another clarifier card though. Let's see, let's pull a clarifier card. I don't always do this, but I want to pull a clarifier card. Spirit, can we get a clarifier card for card pile 2? Can we get a clarifier card for card pile 2? Yeah, pretty much the same card. So yes, you're being asked to just bring awareness to the ways in which you've separated yourself from monetary wealth, the way you've separated yourself from money. You're just giving awareness to it. You're not doing anything with it. You're just being asked to sit with it, to contemplate. There's a subtle art to contemplation where it's just this gentle awareness of kind of sitting with that, oh, I'm different, or these people are different from me. And you might be even kind of looking at your life and the experiences of your life and all the different ways that you said, oh, I'm different, and starting to see where these weren't the truth of you. They were just the truth of the situation of the time. They were the truth of your parents. It was the truth of the circumstances of your life at that time, or in that moment, or during childhood. But it was meant to be temporary, that it isn't true, that these external circumstances and conditions of your life don't get to decide or dictate the truth of you. What is your real and true power and potential? You know, what happens outside of you, and especially what happened outside of you as a child, which wasn't of your own doing or creation. You know, you were a part of it, but you chose it as a soul level to be a part of that family, and yet your parents were more or less molding that reality and shaping it for most of your life. that doesn't have to be the truth of you. Again, you're getting multiple cards of just allowing yourself to be in this state of subtle awareness and just take a look at all the different ways you've separated yourself from wealth or money, and allowing yourself to see things more clearly. You're just allowing things to come up and out, allowing things to come up and out. Because as these old beliefs or old things that come through, these old experiences and internalized voices and whatever it was that you might have internalized, as they start coming up and out, you're clearing the way to be able to experience more money and wealth, because you're recognizing that's not even true. There's no reason to hold on to it or grip it or feel it intact as part of your ego identity when it's not even real or true for you. You didn't decide that. That was an experience as a child that was temporary, and now you're here, you're an adult. Most people, I would imagine, who watch my channel are adults, and you have the opportunity to choose something different, so you might as well, right? And you can. And so it's asking you with all these different cards here. I mean, 4 cards I have that are just pointing into and affirming of just this gentle, subtle awareness and art of just letting things come up, and you're just giving eyes to these things, and whatever wants to come up and out and be known. Not only now are you aware, but you can release that. Things can unravel, and then you can make new choices. You can decide, hey, this is a part of my path, or this is a part of my legacy or my destiny. I do feel there's a little bit of a gap, though, again, because you guys have up until now separated yourself from it. You want to try to close that gap. How are you going to close the gap? You're going to release these old stories and old energies and belief systems and things like that, entanglements that make you feel separate, that have given you the idea that you're separate. We're just going to close that gap. That's what you're being asked to do, card pile 2. Because what happens as a result then is coming into your own power, your own knowing, your potential, your higher power, knowing that you are meant for anything that comes in line with this big, badass vision, all right? So anything that's in alignment with that is what you're getting. All right. So I feel like for card pile 2, so much of it is not even about money or material wealth for you. It ends up being a secondary and indirect result of your legacy, of your destiny, of your purpose path. The more you walk with this, and the more you walk in alignment, the more all that stuff comes as a secondary result. And as long as you're realizing and start doing this work, just softening that belief that you're separate from it or distant from it, or there's a gap, or you can't have it, or it's not for you, the more you close that gap, the more easily everything that you want comes in, for you. Your needs are met, you're provided for, you're supported. Because I feel like for card pile 2, again, it's not even about the wealth, but you do want to be provided for, you do want to be supported, you do want to have flow, you do want to have ease. Abundance sounds nice. If that's the case, you get that. Keep walking that destiny, keep walking the path of your highest potential, of your higher power. That comes naturally for you. Easy peasy, done deal. In fact, if you don't have it now, you're meant for it, and it could be in your hands right now if it weren't for that gap. Because I would imagine that you're in your purpose path to some degree. Many of you are, or you're in your higher path or vision for yourself, like you're at least on the way, like you're in alignment with it. And yet the only thing that's preventing you from material wealth specifically, or monetary wealth specifically, is just that gap in believing that you're different and that it's somehow not for you and not yours. So we just want to soften and close that gap, and then everything that is due for you because of your destiny and the greater work that you're doing in the world comes to you. And look at you here, essentially high and vibrant, love and life, feeling fully supported, stars and spirit under your arms supporting you to live freely, live abundantly, live vibrantly, to be in flow and ease and lightheartedness. Things do become more, quote unquote, easy. They do come into more flow. You do experience more abundance as a result, where life feels just easy and more playful and lighthearted and fun, because you're sort of whisked up by spirit, it feels like, and things just take you. And that part of that experience of being so well supported by spirit is that greater material and monetary wealth. It's just a matter of you following your path, following your flow, and then closing that gap of believing that these experiences are separate or somehow distant from you, and that it's not meant for you. You want to close that gap. You want to own that it is for you, so that way when the material wealth comes as a result of your purpose work or your purpose path, whatever that is, it all comes very easily. It just lands in your lap. So that's your reading, card pile 2. I thank you for watching. If this lands, if it resonates, if it inspires you, I encourage you to like and subscribe, share your story in the comments. I do offer both personal readings as well as coaching sessions to support you to bring this reading to life, or to support you more generally in your life and your work on your spiritual path. So take really good care, and I will see you next time. All right, card pile 3. We are talking about your monetary wealth, how to increase your material wealth or your monetary wealth. These readings have been so juicy and so good. So for you guys, you're going through a healing period, all right? So we had a little bit of healing happening in card pile 2. And card pile 3, I'm feeling a deeper healing period for you right now, where you might feel like you're in a state of contraction, a deep state of growth, just some, deeper healing, emotional healing. Some of you might have support. Some of you might, I don't feel this for many of you. This feels like a minority energy, but I will speak to it in the event that it lands for you. A dark night of the soul, a depression, a turning inward, isolating. But it does feel like sort of like a gentle, isolating, healing energy. We've turned inward. You're not as out there and doing your thing and all of that. You're going through that period of just processing and sifting and contemplating and maybe even meditating and doing your healing or inner shadow work or whatever, to where you're just kind of putting the pieces back together of your life, of yourself, really understanding yourself, understanding what you want, understanding how you came out the way that you did, how and why you operate in the world, and just really understanding all of the threads of you that have come together to make the rope of you, like getting to know all those puzzle pieces in this greater canvas that is you, and looking at each puzzle piece like, this is interesting, this was from that, okay, I can see how this was related to that. And it's just this very exploratory inner journey of, the hero or the heroine's journey, discovering the self, knowing the self, self-knowing. So you're just going through the experience of know thyself. You're going through that deeper healing period of really getting to know all parts of you, the subconscious parts of you, and how everything has come into play over the course of your life to bring you into being as you are, as your ego identity. Now, what it's saying here is there is great abundance meant for you. Well, let's make sure I get the cards here for you. Your first 2 cards, if you're turning inward, you're going through a healing period. You're moving through some integration and some processing and everything we already shared. And let's take a look at these cards. There is greater abundance meant for you, okay? These energies are coming toward you, and as you are moving through this greater healing period, where you're kind of sifting through this old stuff, maybe letting some things go, maybe shifting out of old vibrations, shifting out of old mindsets, shifting out of old dynamics or relating patterns or belief systems. This feels like it's happening very I don't want to say slowly, but organically, like honey or molasses. I don't feel that you're forcing your way through this. I feel like you might even have been here for a time, that you've just been very thoughtful and methodical about allowing spirit to work through you and move through you and support your greater healing and your greater growth and evolution. It's just been very gentle and loving and guided, that you've been held. And I'm not saying it's all been good and dandy, because I know a lot of healing periods are not. What I'm saying is it doesn't feel forced or strived for, and that it feels gentle and loving, like this is a very organic flow. You're not forcing any healing or making something happen. It's just happening, and you're allowing that to happen. So things are softening, things are being released, things are being cleared. Like I said, you're gently and naturally, without even maybe realizing it, shifting out of old beliefs, old ways, old patterns, old identities, and you're stepping into greater energies that are more aligned with your highest, truest self. This being your highest self, these other energies coming to you that are much more aligned, that are much more you, that are much more reflective of even your highest potential, like what is in store for you. That's what's coming through with this greater healing period that you're moving through, where you're shifting out of the old, you're stepping into the new. Again, there's this greater receptivity here. These new energy forms or new energies are coming through, and it's a result of this deeper healing and growth period that you've been moving through. Okay, so what's happening here? So as a result of this healing period, you are going to be, what can we say, authoring a new chapter, stepping into a new frontier, recognizing a new vision for yourself, understanding a new vision, identifying or clarifying your vision, your overall dream, your desire for your life, what you want to do, how you want to show up, how you want to serve, how you want to support, how you want to contribute in the world. All right? You're coming to know yourself more deeply. You're coming to know how you want to contribute, how you want to just give on this planet. Again, your energy, card pile 3, feels very loving and generous and beautiful and bountiful. You just feel so held and supported by spirit. So if you don't feel that energy and you feel more, things might feel more dark, heavy, or intense, which I know healing periods can feel like at times, know that there's really a beautiful, loving, guiding energy that's really holding you and guiding you through this entire experience, that's supporting you to release and clear out the old ever so subtly, gently, organically, just like honey, and that you're just naturally aligning with your truest, highest self. And it never had to be something that was really hard or like forced or any of that stuff that you had to work for. It's just happening naturally. But this is where you find your fullest or fuller expression, okay? Through this healing period, these new energies coming through, new insights, even impulses, inspirations, being receptive to spirit, to where you're being guided, and again, being very exploratory with this and just discovering and allowing things to happen. You discover your fuller expression. So you're discovering things that make you happy, that light you up, that inspire you and move you. You might be discovering more creative expressions like art or dance, or you discover you want to do this for the first time or do that for the first time. You know, I'm even feeling a women's circle for some of you. And again, that doesn't have to align. That was one thing. It might be one person, but you're finding the ways you want to express yourself, the way that you want to contribute, the way that you want to serve, the way you want to show up. This new vision comes your way in terms of this greater vision that you have for yourself, like what it is you really want for yourself. Yeah. And so what I'm feeling here too is that you start, there is something here. Again, I'm feeling that loving, generous energy and that communal energy. Look at the other people that are involved in these cards. Okay, there's other bodies, there's other humans there, other souls. And so I do believe that your monetary wealth or your greater material wealth is a result of how you're serving the collective, what you're doing, how you're contributing, you know, in terms of your purpose path, the lives that you're touching. There is something here about alignment with your purpose, alignment with your contribution, alignment with how you want to show up and serve, that your monetary wealth or your material wealth is at least directly or indirectly related to stepping into your purpose work and your greater vision for yourself and for the world. And then it might be even a more alternative path, okay? So it might not be something more traditional or something corporate or something like that, or a 9-to-5 or white and blue collar. It might look different. Now, this isn't going to be the case for each of you. Please, whatever details land, let them land and resonate. They do not have to land. You apply them based on being the final authority of your life. So some of you might have I feel like some of you might be sort of like hippies or gypsies, where it's like you go to different camping sites and you make your money doing like oracle card readings and healings, or you're doing Reiki out of a studio, Reiki out of your homes. Some of you are teaching people to garden and helping them to harvest and plant their own foods. Some of you are doing herbs and sort of like that level of like nature witchcraft, you know, where you're doing herbs and salves and ointments and things like that. Some of you are working with oils, but you know, all of you are working with like, it feels like energy, nature, earth, spirit, just feeling very aligned with spirit, with higher power, God, great spirit, cosmos, universe, whatever, you know, whatever lands, but Mother Earth, Mother Nature, Goddess. You just feel very aligned with this really loving force, this gentle energy that just wants to give and contribute. Now, it doesn't mean, pile 3, that you always have to give and that you're going to be in self-sacrificing mode and any of that stuff. No. It's just saying like this is naturally what's a part of you and what's coming through this healing period, through this organic journey you've been walking through, the hero or heroine's journey, this vision quest, so to speak, where you've turned inward and you've been kind of sifting through the layers of yourself and peeling the layers off of the onion to find that gem or the, you know, the final node that's underneath, which is the deeper part and truest part of you, where you're really going to connect with this greater vision for yourself, for your life, and you step into that ever so organically, where it's you step into this contribution that's just an extension of your interests and what you would like to do anyway and your passions. Some of you, I'm feeling like you end up choosing a path that's not even material wealth and the monetary means. It's like you are in a community and you guys exchange services and products, or you know, you exchange services and products, you know, kind of like in the farmer's market, or you're living on a farm and you're helping out on the farm, and then your accommodations are provided for. So some of you won't, you know, pile 3, money might not even resonate for you. It might be something that you create or you're part of a community or an economy that doesn't even require cash money, that you guys are all just working together to support each other's needs, and that you are sufficient together as a community, because it does feel like an alternative path. It does feel connected to service. It does feel you are provided for, but it feels so earthly and earthy and connected to more of the resources that nature provides. And again, some of you for card pile 3 might be like, I want money. That's fine. That's yours. So apply this as you see fit. Again, it's still related to your purpose path and your greater contribution and how you want to give back to the collective, to the earth, and to the greater whole, the greater community. And the more you're able to do and connect with and align with that, that's how you also are served and supported and provided for yourself. Okay? So that is your reading, card pile 3. I thank you for watching. If this lands or resonates for you, inspires you, I encourage you to like and subscribe or share your story in the comments. And I do want to remind you, I do offer both personal readings as well as coaching sessions to support you to bring this reading to life, or to support you more generally in your life and your work and on your spiritual path. So thank you, card pile 3. Beautiful energy. Okay, card pile 4. How to increase or enhance your monetary or material wealth. Okay, so it's saying you are already on the path, you're already on the journey, and it's just a matter of trusting it. Trusting the ebbs and flows, trusting the ups and downs, trusting the ins and outs, trusting the kind of current of the stream. Okay, because if you imagine a river or a stream, and let's just say we know it goes south. Okay, we know the stream goes south, but we also know it takes a lot of curves, edges and this and that. It kind of goes down, but we know it ends up in this particular destination. And it's saying don't get caught up with all of the twisty turns, ups and downs, back and forth. Life changes, energy changes, nature changes, everything moves. So you are going to have ups and downs, and just like the stock market, the whole point is a long-term investment. Just like our purpose work or our wealth or whatever, it's a long-term investment, a long-term ROI. It's usually not tomorrow. It's like the stock market goes up and down for 30 years, but then you're able to cash out at 200 grand. But it's because you waited the 30 years and you let it go through all the ups and downs. You weren't in it for the short term or the short-term gratification. You're in it for the long haul. And your soul came here in it for the long haul, recognizing very well that everything was going to add up and you were going to end up in this destination. And as long as you followed that path and did the thing and did the things and made your moves and whatever, that you would also reap your harvest, and that you would reap what you sow. And your soul knew that it wasn't going to be like tomorrow, and it recognized there was an organic unfolding and divine timing happening that was supporting the greater experience of your life, meaning everything is happening in rhythm and in correlation to the other, and it's all in perfect and divine timing. And when we trust that grander and greater intelligence, we are in a position to openly receive, openly be provided for, and also walk in faith and trust that our harvest does come, the bounty does come. We have to trust those ups and downs of our lives, and even our own growth. Sometimes we're not ready for the wealth. Sometimes we're not ready for the money. Sometimes we're going to blow it. Sometimes we don't know any better. Sometimes, like in card pile 2, you separate yourself from wealth and you assume that you're different from wealthy or from money or from other people, and you have to break through that. So that's all right. Sometimes you're going through a healing period and you're trying to learn and discover what your purpose path is, or your path to wealth is. Whatever it is for you, it's going to be unique to you. And yet the path of your life and the sort of way or avenue that it takes is the necessary unfolding for you to experience what you want, right? So you're getting everything you need to experience what you desire. The destination is inevitable, and the path flows as it will. And as long as you go along for the ride and you answer the call and you follow through and you do the thing and you go where you are guided and so on and so forth, the end result is that material wealth. The end result is that greater monetary wealth. It happens as you follow the lead of your soul, of God, Great Spirit, Cosmos, Universe, Higher Power, Mother Earth, Mother Nature, okay? What's going to happen though? So there is some advice and guidance here. And there's a breakthrough that's happening. So let's talk about this. You're being asked to come alive at this time, okay? So what that means for many of you is coming into your full expression, coming into aliveness, getting to know your own desires, getting to know your own creative passions, getting to know what fuels you, moves you, inspires you, turns you on. Because when we're in an energy of dull, depressed, dark night of the soul, if we're in any of those lower, denser vibrations, it is more difficult to experience material or monetary wealth, because it's our own limitation. We don't believe it can happen, or we're just like, F it, I'd rather not bother, or oh, that's not for me, or oh, it's like Eeyore, right? Eeyore energy. Is Eeyore energy? Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. If you don't know that, please Google. I don't know who watches it or what age. I hope it's, primarily 18 and up, adults. But it's, Eeyore's not manifesting any wealth. He's constantly in a bad mood or a poor vibe and just always thinks he's going to fail or something bad's going to happen or the other shoe's going to drop. So it's just very difficult to experience wealth when we're in that state. And it doesn't mean that you can't in that state. Some people do. It just means you don't really care to, you're not really aligned with it, and you're not really going to do the work or do the right things or feel the right things in order to get there, right? You're going to give up long before the happening is had. All of that said, we got to come to life then to be able to support our ability to walk this path, to do the journeying, to do the things that are required. Part of your journeying, part of that path is opening up to life, becoming more receptive to life, stepping into your life, engaging with your life, participating in your life, experiencing the abundance and the wealth that is right here. If you have a family, enjoy them. If you have food on the table, savor every bite, enjoy that delicious cup of coffee, really deepen into that exhale or that stretch in your yoga class, just savoring your life. Because what's going to happen is once you're able to, fully come alive in yourself and your truth and your authenticity and your truest nature, you are going to have this breakthrough that allows for this greater monetary wealth to come through. We're going to see more of what that means more specifically as we go. I'm already seeing here that you open up. I see that at the periphery of my eye, and I wanted to share that. It just felt relevant to jump to that card, that you're able to then receive and allow yourself to experience greater love, support, provision from the universe, God, Great Spirit. You start trusting more, having greater faith, just connecting more with your inner spiritual wealth and allowing that to translate out into your physical wealth, which, of course, allows for that breakthrough that results in receiving more abundance, receiving more support, receiving more bounty and harvest, and so on and so forth. So let's get into some of this. So again, there's this opportunity. So it sounds like, you're going through a period. This reminds me a little bit of card pile 3, but I think these are just like tying up the loose ends for you. And card pile 4, it's a little bit of a different energy where it's just like you're on the path, but you might be a little bit skeptical, right? You've done some deeper healing in the past, and there's just a few things that you're kind of touching up, polishing up, tightening up. Again, like tying up those loose ends and really stepping into your new frontier, your new horizon, your new creative potential. Part of that too is recognizing any beliefs that are still in the way of what it is that you want, any projections that are still in the way of what it is that you want, really getting to know that shadow self, because that's what I'm seeing here in this card. She's looking toward the camera, as you can see. She's looking away. She's more colorful. She's shadowy. And both of these cards speak to that shadow self. So the parts and sides of you then that aren't fully aligned with what it is that you want, really getting clear on those parts. And again, we're seeing a lot of that gray. And to me, that's like, all right, again, affirming the coming to life. There's a lot of gray here. There's a lot of gray energy. Okay, getting to know those parts of you. And card pile 2 is really awesome at talking about subconscious beliefs. So was card pile 1 in a different way, but card pile 2 was talking about like when you separate yourself from wealth or money. Oh, that's not for me. That's not, I'm different from them. Just automatically assuming that it's not for you. But card pile 4, you're being asked to do that gentle exploratory observation or evaluation of your life and any subconscious beliefs or ideas or projections or whatever that might be in the way of you experiencing that greater monetary wealth, or even that are in the way of you experiencing all that you desire, like actually enjoying your life, enjoying the abundance that's right here, enjoying all the aspects of your life that are right here. I am getting the energy that some of you might be in that kind of victimhood mentality or victimhood state where you're just like, kind of take all the good that you do have for granted, and you've kind of had enough things happen in your life to where you might just feel like, F it, never mind, like this is all pointless. And so you're just not able to see the beauty and the bounty that is in your life. And so you're being asked to be more present, again, to engage with your life, to come alive, to experience the abundance that's right here. So that way you can even experience the abundance that is to come later. But it's requiring you to come to life first and to step into that more abundant place within, that spiritual wealth. and then it's going to support you to then experience the outer wealth. Why? Because you're actually going to care to do it. You're going to know better. You're going to do better. You're going to make different choices. You're going to be aware of your beliefs that are holding you back and your self-imposed limitations. You're going to be aware of your projections that you've placed on money and wealth and all of that. You've taken a good look at all of that, and you're able to move forward from a more conscious and intentional place based on what it is you want to experience. And again, you're going to come to a place where you're able to experience more prosperity and abundance because of the work that you've done, and because I'm feeling the primary energy for you, card pile 4, is stepping into a mindset or a perception of abundance regardless. So in your life now, enjoying your life now, being here now, enjoying nature now, your kids now, your food now, whatever that is, and that slowly and surely you find that you're coming alive, that you're feeling more blissful, you're kind of touching these higher vibrational states and qualities and experiences, and then you have this breakthrough, and then you're able to see yourself quite clearly in terms of the old self, the old ways, the old paradigms, the old self-imposed limitations that were getting in the way, the old projections. You're able to see clearly and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that that's who I was, and that's what I thought, and that's where I was at, but that's where I was at. But you're able to see things more clearly. That way you can take more conscious and intentional action toward what it is that you truly want. Now, I am getting some energy here from a past life. So again, we're getting this card here, and so it's saying that there is something here about that kind of darker or heavier or gray cloud energy of just kind of wanting to give up or just never mind, or effort that might have been passed through the generations. And so that's kind of lingering for you, but it's not even real for you, and it's not true for you. So part of your work here in owning yourself, your desires, your creative expression, and the life that's like beaming right here, and the abundance that's already here, that's going to be a great healer and liberator as well for your generational lineage, for your family. That's a great healer for everyone that's in your and yeah, that's up the line fraternally and maternally. I do want to get some clarifier cards though, because your reading was pretty quick, and I'm happy usually to follow the flow in terms of how long readings take. And I do tend to see how in the readings there's oftentimes almost a chronological aspect to it, such that the deeper readings sometimes are toward the beginning, sometimes they're toward the end, but either way the readings go from short to long or longer to short, and usually it's only by a few seconds. But I do want to pull a couple final cards for you, card pile 4, just because we do have the time. Wow, look at all this blue here. I do believe that's relevant, because again, the colors, everything that comes up is relevant. We're seeing maroon, we're seeing blue, we're seeing white. All right, some cooler tones, cooler energies, cooler vibrations. But yes, it's saying you come to a greater understanding of yourself. We talked about that. I feel like these are two parts of you that are coming closer toward integration, kind of closing the gap if there is any, like if there's two parts of you, like one part of you wants this, one part of you wants that. You're able to come into greater union and harmony with each other, make that united front toward what it is that you want. But again, we talked about you understanding yourself better, kind of taking this perspective and being like, oh, that's what keeps me separate from this, and what is it that I truly want, that kind of stuff. You're coming into deeper self-understanding as a result of your tuning in and listening to your inner voice. So that's what's coming through here, card pile 4, your final couple of messages here. And yours does take on a different flavor and texture than all the other readings. So if any other card piles land for you, I would encourage you to check that out as well. But all these cards are speaking to some of that inner work, that growth work of really tuning in, of connecting with yourself, taking a look at the things that are that might be limiting you at this time, that aren't actually true for you or aren't aligned at all with what you want, and doing that and following that inner voice toward that coming alive and that greater breakthrough that's going to happen. It's going to shift all these old energies and bring on those new energies into your life that then results in that greater material wealth, that greater monetary wealth. So that's what's going on for you, card pile 4. If this resonates for you or inspires you, I encourage you to like and subscribe or leave a comment below. I also want to let you know I do offer both personal readings as well as coaching sessions to support you to bring this reading to life, or to support you more generally in your life and your work and on your spiritual path. Thank you, card pile 4.